Stop right now. Do not scroll. Do not close this. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Because what I am about to say is not casual. It is not motivational talk. It is not another religious message floating through your day. This is a direct warning meant for you. And if you have been feeling unsettled, restless, or quietly anxious about the direction your life is taking, there's a reason you are here at this exact moment. Listen carefully, because in the next few minutes I am going to tell you exactly what has been blocking your breakthrough, why progress has felt delayed, and what God is asking you to change before He releases what you have been praying for. Stay with me, because missing this warning would cost you more than you realize. You did not find this message by accident. And no, this is not the algorithm doing its job. This is not coincidence. This is not random timing. This is divine interruption. God is stepping into your routine because something important has been overlooked. Something subtle, something easy to dismiss, but powerful enough to slow down what heaven is trying to bring into your life. I want you to take a breath right now, slow your thoughts, and really listen, because this message is not meant for everyone. It is meant for people who have lived long enough to know that life does not always turn out the way you planned. For people who have carried responsibility, raised families, worked hard, endured disappointment, loss, and quiet seasons of waiting. This is for those who have faith, but have also wrestled with doubt when answers took too long. God sees you. He has seen the nights you laid awake, thinking about what could have been different, the moments you replayed, conversations, decisions, and missed opportunities, wondering if you made the wrong turn somewhere along the way. He has seen the prayers you stopped saying out loud because you were tired of hoping and being disappointed. And here's the truth you need to hear clearly. Nothing about your life has been wasted. Nothing you endured was meaningless. But there is one thing, just one thing, that God is warning you about today, because it has been quietly standing in the way of your next season. This warning is not loud, it is not dramatic, and that is why it is dangerous, because it hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as wisdom, as caution, as realism. But in reality, it has slowly been limiting what God can do in your life. Before I explain it, I need you to understand something important. God is not angry with you. He is not punishing you, and He has not withdrawn His favor. This warning is not correction out of frustration. It is protection out of love. If you are still here, if something inside you feels alert right now, that is your spirit recognizing truth. You have lived long enough to know that not every door that stays closed is the enemy, and not every delay is failure. But you have also lived long enough to recognize when something feels unfinished, when life seems paused, when momentum slows without explanation. What God is showing me is that many of you listening have been faithful, patient, and responsible. But you have also been holding onto something that feels safe, familiar, and reasonable, even though it no longer aligns with where God is trying to take you. This is where the warning begins. The one thing blocking your breakthrough is not sin in the obvious sense. It is not lack of effort, and it is not that you have not prayed enough. It is misplaced trust. Trust in what feels controllable, trust in what worked before. Trust in your own understanding more than God's instruction. Over time, caution became your comfort, routine became your refuge, and predictability became your protection. And while those things once served you, they are now limiting you. God is saying very clearly, what protected you in the past cannot carry you into the future. You learned how to survive, how to manage, how to stay steady, but survival is not the same as obedience, and stability is not the same as surrender. This is why progress has felt slow, why answers have seemed delayed, why doors opened only partway, and then stalled, not because God withheld, but because He will not force you forward, while you are still holding onto what He already asked you to release. This is difficult to hear, especially for those who value responsibility, wisdom, and careful decision-making. But God is not asking you to be reckless. He is asking you to trust Him beyond what feels reasonable. Many of you have been saying, "God, I believe in you," but your actions have been saying, "I will move only when it feels safe." And God is gently but firmly saying, safety is not the same as faith. If you feel resistance in your chest right now, if something feels exposed, that is not condemnation, that is clarity. God is not trying to take something from you. He is trying to remove what is blocking what He wants to give you. Stay with me, because in the next part, I am going to explain how this pattern formed, why it feels so justified, and how to recognize it in your own life without shame. And more importantly, I will show you exactly what to do next. Do not leave, because understanding this warning is the difference between staying where you are and stepping into what God has already prepared. Now I need you to stay open, because what I am about to explain will help you recognize yourself without shame, without fear, and without feeling judged, because God is not exposing this to embarrass you. He is revealing it to free you. This pattern did not appear overnight. It formed slowly, quietly, over years of experience, disappointment, responsibility, and survival. You learned through life that being careful kept you from pain, being realistic kept you from disappointment, and lowering expectations protected your heart. At first, this wisdom served you well. It helped you endure hard seasons, raise families, manage obligations, and keep moving forward when life did not make sense. But over time, what began as wisdom slowly turned into a boundary God never asked you to build. You stopped expecting too much, not because you lost faith in God, but because you learned how painful it was to hope and wait, and wait, and wait again. Somewhere along the way, you told yourself, "I still believe, but I will not expect. I will pray, but I will not get my hopes up. I will trust God, but only within limits that feel safe." And God understands why you did this. He sees the history behind it, the disappointments that taught you caution, the prayers that seemed unanswered, the moments you had to keep going without clarity. But here's the warning you need to hear clearly. Delayed obedience disguised as wisdom still delays breakthrough. God is not offended by your caution, but He cannot release what requires faith if you refuse to step beyond what feels manageable. This is where many faithful people become stuck, not because they stopped believing, but because they stopped responding. You kept showing up, kept praying, kept being responsible, but inside, something quietly settled into place. The belief that God would move eventually, but not now, that things might change someday, but probably not soon. This mindset does not feel rebellious. It feels reasonable. It feels mature. It feels realistic. And that is exactly why it blocks breakthrough, because faith does not move based on likelihood. Faith moves based on obedience. God is not asking you to pretend everything will be perfect. He is asking you to trust Him enough to move when He speaks, even if the outcome is unclear. For some of you, this warning applies to a decision you have been delaying, a conversation you have been avoiding, a step you keep postponing because it feels uncomfortable, risky, or disruptive. For others, it applies to something internal, a belief you accepted about yourself, your age, your limitations, your usefulness, or your future. You told yourself, "This is just how things are now. This is as good as it gets. This is what I can expect at this stage of life." But God is saying, who told you that? Who convinced you that your best days are behind you, that growth is finished? That purpose has expired, that transformation has an age limit, that belief did not come from God, and it has been quietly blocking what He wants to do next. God is not limited by time, age, or past outcomes, but He will not override your agreement with limitation. If you believe nothing new is possible, you will not recognize opportunity when it arrives. If you believe breakthrough is unlikely, you will hesitate when God asks you to move. And hesitation, not failure, is what keeps many people stuck. This is why God is warning you now, before He releases the next thing, because what He is about to do will require you to respond differently than you have been responding, not with effort, not with striving, but with trust that moves before certainty. You may be thinking, I have trusted before and it did not work out. And God is saying, it did work, just not the way you expected, and not for the reason you thought. Everything you walked through shaped you, strengthened you, and prepared you. But preparation is not the destination. You were never meant to stay in readiness mode forever. At some point, faith has to move from waiting to walking. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Comfort has been your anchor, not sin, not disobedience in the obvious sense, but comfort in routine, comfort in predictability, comfort in knowing what to expect, even if what you expect is disappointment. God is asking you to loosen your grip on what feels familiar, because familiarity is quietly competing with faith. This does not mean reckless change. It means responsive obedience. It means listening closely, even when the instruction challenges what feels reasonable. Right now, God is asking you a simple but serious question. Are you willing to trust me beyond what you can control? This is the warning, not because God wants to scare you, but because delay will cost you momentum. What is coming next requires movement, not someday, not later, but soon. And if you ignore this warning, life will not fall apart, but it will remain stalled, not because God withdrew, but because He will not drag you forward while you are anchored to what feels safe. Stay with me, because in the next part, I am going to help you identify exactly where God is asking you to shift, and how to respond without fear, without pressure, and without confusion. Now listen carefully, because what I am about to say may feel personal, but it is meant to bring clarity, not condemnation. God is not warning you because you are doing something wrong. He is warning you because you are standing at a turning point, a place where staying the same will cost you more than changing. For many of you, the real blockage is not fear. It is resignation, not loud despair, not hopelessness that cries out, but a quiet acceptance that life is simply going to be this way now. You wake up, you do what needs to be done, you handle responsibilities, you keep the peace, you stay faithful. But deep down, you stopped expecting God to surprise you. You stopped expecting joy to return in full color. You stopped expecting peace without strain. You stopped expecting purpose that excites your spirit. And God sees this clearly. This is why He says this one warning cannot be ignored, because ignoring it does not bring punishment, it brings stagnation. Stagnation looks calm on the outside, but it quietly drains life on the inside. You still believe in God, but you stopped believing God would move in a way that changes how you live. And that belief is not harmless. It shapes your decisions, your reactions, your posture toward life. You pray, but without expectation. You listen, but without urgency. You obey, but without anticipation. God is not asking you to feel young again. He is asking you to feel alive again. Age does not reduce calling. Time does not cancel assignment. Experience does not replace obedience. In fact, everything you have lived through has positioned you uniquely for what comes next. But here's the truth. God cannot build something new on a foundation of settled limitation. If you have already decided how things will end, you will miss how God wants to begin. Some of you have made peace with situations God never asked you to accept. You said, "This is just how my marriage is now. This is just how my health is now. This is just how my finances are now. This is just how my faith feels now." And God is saying, "Who told you to settle?" Acceptance is not always surrender. Sometimes it is retreat. There's a difference between trusting God and shrinking expectation. Trust says, "I do not know how, but I believe God can." Resignation says, "I believe God can, but I do not think He will." That second belief quietly closes doors God honors. Honesty, but He responds to faith. This is why this warning comes before the breakthrough. Because the next season will require you to participate differently, not with more effort, not with louder prayers, but with alignment. Alignment between what you say you believe and how you actually live right now. Heaven is asking you to examine one specific area, an area where you have stopped asking, stopped seeking, stopped knocking, not because you stopped believing in God, but because you stopped believing change was possible. This might involve forgiveness you delayed, a conversation you avoided, a step you postponed, a habit you defended, a comfort you protected. And God is saying, this is the block, not because it is evil, but because it is familiar. Familiar patterns feel safe. Even when they limit growth, God does not break you out of comfort forcefully. He invites you out gently, but firmly. This invitation feels like a warning because time matters, momentum matters. You have already waited long enough, not because God was slow, but because preparation was necessary. Now preparation is complete, but preparation unused turns into frustration. Some of you feel restless lately, unsettled, distracted, emotionally tired, and you could not explain why. That is not weakness, that is readiness. Your spirit knows something is about to move, and it does not want to stay where it is, but your mind wants certainty before movement, and God is asking you to reverse that order. Move. Then clarity will follow. Obey. Then peace will settle. Trust. Then understanding will grow. This is how faith works. If God explained everything in advance, trust would not be required. And this is where many people hesitate, especially those who have lived long enough to know things do not always turn out as planned. But God is not asking you to trust outcomes. He is asking you to trust Him. There is a difference. Outcomes depend on circumstances. Trust depends on relationship. God has been faithful to you more times than you can count, even when you did not see it clearly in the moment. Every delay taught you patience. Every disappointment taught you discernment. Every hardship deepened your compassion. You are not behind, you are positioned. But position without movement produces frustration. This is why God is speaking firmly now, not to pressure you, but to awaken you. Because once this door opens, it will require your response, not tomorrow, not someday, but when He nudges you. And if you respond with hesitation instead of trust, you may miss the timing, not the blessing forever, but the fullness of it. Timing matters. This is why God says this warning cannot be ignored, not because He will withdraw His love, but because delay dulls sensitivity. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. So stay with me, because in the final part, I am going to speak directly into how you respond to this warning without fear, without panic, and without pressure. Now hear this slowly, because this is where peace replaces pressure. God is not rushing you, but He is inviting you. He is not demanding perfection. He is asking for willingness. This warning was never meant to frighten you. It was meant to wake you up gently before opportunity passes quietly. You are not late. You are not behind. And you are not disqualified. but you are at a crossroads. One path keeps life familiar, predictable, and emotionally contained. The other path requires trust, not in your strength, but in God's faithfulness. God already knows your fears. He knows your questions. He knows what you have lost. He knows what you are protecting, and He is not angry about any of it. But He is asking you to loosen your grip, because what you are holding onto for safety is blocking what He wants to place in your hands. This breakthrough is not about doing more. It is about releasing control. Control feels responsible, but faith feels vulnerable, and vulnerability is where God does His deepest work. Some of you have spent years being strong, being reliable, being the one others depend on. You learned how to carry weight quietly, how to endure without complaint, how to survive without falling apart. And God honors that strength, but now He is saying, you do not have to carry everything alone anymore. You are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to expect again. You are allowed to believe without bracing for disappointment. This is not childish faith. This is mature trust. Trust that says, even if I do not understand the timing, I trust the heart behind it right now. God is asking you to respond, not with emotion, but with agreement. Agreement in your heart that says, I am willing. Agreement in your spirit that says, I am open. Agreement in your posture that says, I will move when you nudge me. This is how the block is removed, not by force, not by striving, but by surrendering the belief that nothing new can happen. God is about to restore expectancy, not naive hope, but steady confidence. Confidence that says, God still speaks, God still moves, God still finishes what He starts. And when this shift happens, you will notice it first internally. Peace will settle where tension lived. Clarity will replace confusion. Courage will rise where hesitation once ruled. Then external things will begin to align. Conversations will open. Opportunities will surface. Relationships will soften. Resources will increase, not all at once, but unmistakably. You will look back and realize this was the moment everything quietly changed. This warning was not about doom, it was about direction. God was redirecting you away from stagnation and toward movement. And now comes the invitation. If you are ready to release what has been holding you back, not sin, not rebellion, but hesitation. If you are ready to trust God beyond what feels safe. If you are ready to move forward without needing every answer. First, then respond, not to me, but to God. Simply say, I am willing. Say it out loud if you can. Say it quietly if you must. Say it honestly. God responds to sincerity, not volume. And as you do, let peace wash over you. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the turn. What you thought was the closing chapter is actually the transition. God is not finished with you. Your purpose is not expired. Your best days are not behind you. They are unfolding. Slowly, intentionally, and beautifully. Stay alert, stay open, stay responsive. And when you see movement begin, remember this moment. Remember that God warned you. Because He loves you, and He loves you too much to let you stay stuck. Type I am willing. If you are ready to step forward and rest in this truth, God is with you, God is for you, and what He has planned cannot be blocked forever. This was not the end, this was the beginning.